Okay, I'm very happy to be here. I have been with the Dialogue of Civilisations for many, many, many years, since the very, very beginning. The philosopher Aristotle said that human culture is founded on two basic foundations, namely action and speech, praxis and lexis. Where these two things are absent, Aristotle said, we have barbarism.
The comprehension and the interpretation of humanity varies among different civilizations. Such differences, on the one hand, reflect the complexity of humanity itself. On the other hand, they indicate the limitations of human beings' capacity for knowledge.
I think the idea of a global civilization is something which a group called the Cosmopolitans are concerned about. But a lot of people see it as an Americanization of the world or a Westernization of the world. So if there is an emergent global civilization, some people would be unhappy with that because they would see the values associated with a Western or American civilization to be alien to their own understandings of the world. So I think on one level, globalization has led us into a universal culture almost, where we all see the same films, read the same books, eat the same food even. But on the other hand, it's also stimulated a backlash amongst some groups who see the world very differently and don't like the changes which are being presented to them.
What can we do about that? That's the issue. What can we do about this present state of the football match between the bare-knuckle aggressiveness of barbarism and the cultivation of dialogue?
A very important point which is often missed in analyzing Huntington Clash of Civilization book was, as he said in one of the central chapters of his book, he understood the following, that the world was become more modern and less Western at the same time. He understood that modernization did not mean Westernization. He understood that modernity could be articulated in multiple ways, and that it was a mistake to think that as the world will become more modern, will become more Western. However, what I think was the real problem with Huntington was the solution that he provided in his book to this emerging danger of the clash of civilization.
Yet with such power comes responsibility. It has never been so urgent to engage in peaceful dialogue among civilizations, and this is the only option if we wish to see a bright future for the human race. So a capacity to cultivate not only humanity but also co-humanity is exactly the power that might save the world from falling apart.
I'm not sure that Trump personally is so religious. I'm sure that he is a very opportunist political man. So, for example, we know clearly that he is completely aware that part of his electorate is evangelical. So he will please, quote unquote, this part of his electorate. America separates state, action, institution, and religious institution. But at the social level, religion is very present. You cannot be a good citizen if you are not a member of a religious congregation, which would be impossible to understand for someone living in France, the Netherlands, or even the UK. People see themselves as rational citizens without automatically connecting their civic action to religious identity or belonging, while it's not the case for the majority of Americans.
Protest movements are strongly embedded in the idea, in a contextualist idea of politics that might be localist, might be more civilizationist, but the idea is anyway that this kind of universal integration is no good because it generates economic problems and deletes identities.
We don't live in a world where civilizations are clashing. We live in a world where there are serious conflicts, but it's very, very hard indeed to label them civilizational conflicts. The current big issue, of course, in international politics is to some degree the relationship between China and the US, a trade war.
Seeing the world and understanding what is going on within it differently is already a way of beginning to change it.
First of all, it was less a threat or a clash between civilizations. It was a threat and a clash within civilizations.
The question then is what does it mean to meet someone? How do you fully understand each other without forcing someone to be different?
Since the collapse of the Berlin Wall and the rise of this whole discussion about the clash of civilization, the defining factor is no longer ideology, but identity.
The future structure of the world order cannot just be Western and liberal. It needs to be something new. How can we get there? To me, the idea of dialogue of civilization is what actually can point to this. And that's why I think the work that this institute is doing is absolutely essential for the future of the 21st international relation. And I look forward to working more in the framework of the institute to look at the possibility of building dialogue of civilization as a model for the future of world order.